This is Fireworks. We are with there to say it just the way it is, no matter whose ox is God. My name is Eshomomo Imodu. And on the top today, we'll be taking a look at the happenings and the politics, the intrigues, the behind-the-scene happenings. You probably have some thoughts about the 2027 election. What is happening? Are we heading towards a one-party state? What is happening to the PDP? Think less. I have with me on the top today a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, a one-time governorship candidate in Ogun State, and also the convener of the alternative. Talking about Segun Sowunmi. Nice to have you join us today.
Yes, it's nice to see you, you know.
Exactly.
It's nice to know that the Fireworks is back. I have very strong and very interesting nostalgia of how it used to be. In your hands, I think it's going to even get better and hotter.
Nice you're on my turf. Now, the alternative. Looking at your party, the PDP with the crisis, the Labour Party with its crisis, the SDP with its crisis, the ruling party with the strikes of the incumbent president, is there any alternative?
I wish I had said the ruling party with its crisis, but since you said it that way, I'll just say this to you. The whole idea of the alternative, which I'm promoting and pushing very hard, is to get us to review how we're doing things. We can pretend that one person is all good and all persons other than that one person is bad, but evidence over the years has not proven to be correct. We have had a couple of presidents in this republic, and the critical issues that we need to resolve in the country: security, the welfare of our people and their general feel of happiness, their feeding and all of that, the development of the country, and national integration that shows that the nation is going on a journey that every citizen knows where we're going. It's still very much under asking question. And you have to then say, shall we continue like this, or shall we continue to assume that the man in charge, whoever he may be, either the one now or the one in the future, is guilty? Shall we not look at how we've been playing it, what we can do to make it different, what we can contribute? Shall we not start to change from within, and then maybe it can percolate? And
should we also consider where we're coming from and the impact it has made so far?
Now, shall we not be concerned that over the years, the numbers of people who turn up to vote, percentage-wise, is dropping? Shall we not be concerned that critically it is beginning to seem like it's so transactional, every vote on the day is procured one way or the other? Shall we not be concerned that our country, especially the legacy, which I like to credit Shehu Musa Yar'Adua, blessed memory, with starting, which is that before this republic, this set of republic of 1992 that culminated in 1999, it was always that the country was having politics around tribal lines. Awolowo was a Yoruba man and his party was as Yoruba as they come. Nnamdi Azikiwe was an Igbo man and his party was as Igbo as they come. Aminu Kano, the whole works, they were like that. And that was how it was even in the Second Republic, and we saw the result. So some man thought, okay, we can't continue like this. Shall we not build a nation where people can be a bit more integrated? And that was what created all the Bola Tinubu, the Atikus, and all of the players. They pushed so hard. And now they got the opportunity of democracy in 1999. They were the principal players one way or the other. And 27 or so years afterwards, you're seeing that the nation is going back to its default mode, where conversation is just so tribal. You make a comment, an honest, innocent comment, a genuine, honest, and truthful comment that may be seen to be critical of the Igbos, and the only thing you get is you're a bigot. You do the same thing about the Yorubas, and the next thing you're going to hear is that you're a betrayer. You do that about the Fulani, any other. So I saw that we're inching dangerously to an implosion, and I then thought, okay, I don't have power, neither do I have any authority over them. The next best thing we could do is some kind of subtle advocacy that can make us say, can't we find a better way?
So that is
and I couldn't call it the better. So the next best name I could think of by inspiration was the alternative. And it's not about PDP or anything. It's about all of us. It's about the people in APC figuring out, can they not do it better? The ones in PDP, the ones in Labour, the ones in ABGA, the one in ACA, all of us just say, can we not do it better? Because ultimately it's our country.
Nice idea the alternative is. But don't you think also the kind of energy you put into the alternative to make the polity a better place? Some people have thought that if Segun Sowunmi puts same energy into his own party that is in crisis, probably it will be better.
You must be either new
Definitely, you know
it must be either new to the political narrative space or just overwhelmed by the narrative of the now. I have been as consistent can be, pushing the PDP, doing narrative, supporting the party over the years. In 1999, I came up with an idea, let's have a thinking club. In 2003, I came up with the idea that eventually became CUPP, which I said, let's have a coalition of political parties to solve problems. Afterwards, I went to Ogun and I came up with an idea. Let us do a media tracking that allows us to know that we're doing perception management that is correct and measurable. In 2011, I was Director General of the Jonathan Sambo campaign. I started screaming, this party must be reformed. The underpinnings of how it came into existence has now become a burden. By 2015, what I'm trying to tell you is that I've always done this.
You've always done this. My worry is with the recent crisis in the PDP, is it that they've not been listening to your voice, or you're tired of the players? We're talking about Atiku, we're talking about Minister Wike, you're talking about Damago, the acting national chairman. There's so much crisis.
You're fixated on the persons. I'm more interested in the process. There ought to be a process that tells society that this is the right attitude, the right conduct, the right behavior to follow. There is a way a nation becomes stimulated to create the energy for a leapfrog. There is a way you take uneducated people, imagine the generation before the English came. There is a way you made it clear that people now don't have to be pleading with you to send your child to school, but they had to plead with your grandfather to release your dad to go to school. So when you think about things from the point of view of process, then you stop putting unnecessary energy on individuals, because all of those names you mentioned, you could have repeated them with any of the other names, including yours and mine. And if we don't change the process, we don't change the thoughts, we don't change the attitude, the result will be the same. You can flip it and ask, shall Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who ordinarily should be one of the scions of democratic participation and multi-party democracy, shall he preside over a country, over a party that even his own party begins to resemble a complete constellation between those of the CPC structure and those of the ACNH structure, and the other players who were the new PDP who came then to join them have all had to leave? These are the issues. Shall you have a democracy where people are not turning up and you are not worried? Shall you have a democracy in Nigeria where all your neighbors, Niger, Guinea, Mali, all of those areas are losing democracy and becoming military dictatorship? And shall you then think that it is now the time to start saying, oh, you want to blame one man? I'm saying to you that you can't run it that way. It won't change anything, at least not in a dramatic manner. The better way, and I expected them to, all of you to say, thank you, Segun, for thinking this thought. The better way is for us to begin to insist that the citizens change themselves.
And then we change. I agree with you. The citizens should change the way they think. But also, when you're talking about an election, just 2 years into an election.
Okay, you want to talk about the parties now?
Exactly. 2 years into an election, you need political parties.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if the president's, the government in power.
Yeah, the APC government,
and people are not satisfied. Now, where is the alternative? Not talking about your group now. Where is the alternative in the PDP? Riddled with crisis. Where is the alternative in the APC riddled with crisis? Now, it's easy for us to mention some key players ahead of 2016. President Bola Tinubu is strategic. Atiku Abubakar is strategic. Minister Wike is strategic. Nasir El-Rufai is strategic.
Where are you putting me?
Okay, Segun Sowunmi is strategic. But you look at all these people, whether it is in PDP, you know those who seem to be the problem in there. Whether it is in Labour Party, you know those who seem to be the problem. So Nigerians are left without a viable alternative.
Let me say to you, you know, sometimes when we criticize our leaders, like I sometimes criticize them, after we've done the criticism, we have to still step back and look at it again. For is there something an adult sees sitting down that a child standing on an Iroko tree will not see? And then when you take on that mindset, you review their actions again, and you review your criticism, and occasionally you may find out that they are right. And why am I saying this? Is there anything in your mind that tells you that we're going to get to election day 2027 and there will be only one candidate on the ballot? So it therefore follows that whatever name you are going to call the contraption, there will be something that will be the alternative.
So even if it's a contraption.
Yeah, whatever it is you are going to call the contraption, there will be something that will eventually look like the alternative. And if you hear leaders talking about coalition, talking about merger, and all of those names you are talking about, there is something in set. If you are a science person, there's something called the norming.
The merger seems dead on arrival.
Hold on. There's something called the norming. Then there's something called the forming. Then there's something called the curing. Every idea of that nature is going to run that course. But I guarantee you, the Nigerian people will not be left with an option of their choice. It now beholds the Nigerian citizen, when they get to that day, to ask themselves, am I going with the status quo or am I going with the alternative? What would then be the conversation is what, who, what platform would that alternative be?
Okay, let me ask you that question. You are a politician.
Yes, I am.
Do you think PDP can become that alternative? Do you think Labour Party can become that alternative? Do you think SDP can become that alternative? Because the PDP Governor Sowunmi said no way for the coalition of Atiku Abubakar, which means dead on arrival in the PDP.
You must always know that in the struggle for power and the manipulation of platform, many things come into the conversation before the May Day or the D-Day. When they get to that D-Day, which will be when they have to file candidates, when they have to put their papers to INEC, human beings, not ideas, will step forward.
What at this level anyhow?
No, wait a minute. They will step forward, and without promoting any one of them over the others, when they then step forward, the duty of the Nigerian citizen is to say, okay, everything considered, who do I want to give my future to? Once that question is answered, you already have
before that question comes in, you seem to believe that nothing is wrong with your party, the PDP, because you sound very philosophical that as if everything is okay. Is that a problem in your party? I like us to be sincere.
Listen. Before we got to 2015, the PDP and its president had about 22, 23 governors, and that was the presidency of Jonathan at that time. He would have imagined, and with due respect to him, if we had this conversation at that time, he may have said, oh, we have all the military, whatever, federal might, this, that, all of those things that make you think that the ruling party is invincible. And he would have felt that way too. And 2 years from that time, he may have imagined that, oh, where would they even come from? Who will even support them? How will they even win? You can do the numbers. All of you are good at that. Where you all mostly fail is that you don't understand the science. Only a few people know that science. I consider Ashagbala Tinubu does know because I've known it for a while, and I don't know the science as well. There are four things you must think about. There is the money, because Nigerians like their money. There is the maths, which is the numbers. Okay, you cannot ask one number, add it to this, which is what all of you are doing. But there is also the science of it, which is why do people behave in a certain way and not in a certain way? What are the things that made them take that decision? Why did they dump Jonathan, who was trying to educate the North, for Buhari, who was barely saying nothing? Why did they dump all of the people they dumped over the years Why did they dump? How did it manage to happen? That's where the science is, and that's where the hard work is, and that's the area I devote a lot of my energy and my time for.
And most Nigerians are not thinking that
they
way.
can't, because it's like saying that everybody is a professor or everybody is a doctor of science in the field. That's not their field.
No, let
me land one question, one last line, so you get it, and I can shut down that conversation. It is in the realm of that science that you're going to have to manage tribalism and tribal behavior. You are going to manage youth energy and that type of what they can do. That's where you're going to have to manage leaders that are, out there connecting with people. And that's how you're going to, that's the way you manage boots on ground. That's also where you're going to manage international conspiracy or who is backing who and what is backing what. My brother, do not be deceived. Anybody who says 2027 is in the bag for Ashadibola Metin who deceives him. It's not in the bag yet.
Now, where do you place these arguments on persons say that Nigeria is heading towards a one-party state because people are moving from the PDP, NNPP into the APC? Do you share their perspective? Because others argue that, are you saying the ruling party should build up
in the build-up to 2023, the PDP had 13 governors. Of those 13 governors, 5 of them publicly said they're not going to work for the party's candidate. A few others who did not say it publicly that I know also put their hands up to work for the ruling party.
Just like some PDP governors.
Just hold on a second. All of that added to the numbers of governors that APC had. They could only produce 8.9 million votes. And notwithstanding those 5, and the other ones who were also not even on board, PDP still produced 8.9 million votes. Now, the magic of it that makes you see the point I'm making was actually Peter Obi, who truly did not have one governor. He didn't have one rep. He didn't have one senator up until that election. How did he get 6.1 million? I have said it 1 million times, and I've been warning the obedient to stop being exactly too combative. It's for this argument, which is that if you got 6.1 million without any of these things, without the benefit of the hindsight or how the country is being mismanaged now, why don't you people let us just cool down?
Did you say mismanaged?
No, mismanaged. I'm coming to that. Why don't you people just cool down a bit so that you don't drive the narrative into tribe? So that if you just cool down a bit, and when we drive the narrative into competence, then we manage your Messiah a little bit. I guarantee you, 2027 is going to be a shocker. Never mind those who foolishly assume that, one governor or one president or one senator owns all the voting rights of the people under his control. No, he doesn't.
Mr. Segun, it's significant to also note that you talked about Peter Obi, the game in 2023. Do you think it can be repeated that way? Now, he's been in the Labour Party, for instance, and even in his own party.
I just used him as an example.
Yeah, I also want to use him to illustrate something.
You better use Atiku as a better example.
Yeah, I will also use Atiku.
Thank you.
Now, Peter Obi is still in Labour Party, and he's not been able to bring together the various factions of his party 2 years after an election. People say such a man wants to bring together a nation.
You say the same about Atiku, right?
You have Atiku Abubakar, who has, there was this conflict, disagreement between he and Minister Wike, and 2 years after, he's not been able to find a means to bring this man to the table and they discuss.
Why do you think a nation of 250 million people will be reduced to those characters that you mentioned?
Because they are the key players your parties are putting forward.
Number one. The second is that, why do you think that Atiku is going to suddenly be responsible for the lack of character, bad parentage, and attitude that has become the lie of the ground today? Or why do you want to hold people to be responsible for adults who do not see the concept of the bigger picture? The point I'm making to you, with due respect, is like you asking me, why is Bola Tinubu not able to manage Nasir El-Rufai? Or why is he not even able to manage Aregbesola, his man that has come with him for donkey years? I can tell you, there was a time when I showed you up, the president would say, if I am closing my eyes and they want to shave me with a razor, once it is Aregbesola, I will sleep. There was a time when Aregbesola used to say, if I see the phone call and it's a phone call of the president, I won't pick it. I will be dancing just out of happiness. And then I will call him back. Okay, why is he not able to manage them? Listen, I'm telling you about process. You are reducing everything to individuals. By the time it is done and over, the question that we need to ask is, who is best able to move us forward? And I'm not by any means, before you say, oh, you said you will win. No, I'm not by any means telling you that he will lose or he will win, or that my own will win, or my own will lose. I've not made up my mind who I'm going to support just yet. Yes, I haven't, because candidates have not emerged.
In your party?
In any party.
But you're still a
candidate.
You're still a card-carrying member of the PDP, I guess.
I have been a card-carrying member of the PDP from day one. I'm still there.
I know, because a lot of people are losing faith in the PDP. So I'm asking you, are you thinking about crossing over from the PDP?
You know, you have asked a good question. You know, the greatest thing that bothers me now is not all that. What bothers me is that, Segun Sowunmi, are you going to start feeling uncomfortable in this country in narrative just because the Yoruba man is president?
You're shifting it. You're shifting it.
No, I'm not shifting it. You see the linkage. I shall learn to hear. If I get the impression that just because Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu, Yoruba man, is president, then my Yorubaness will now become an issue, then obviously I'm going to take a decision that, okay, let's to your tent, O Israel. I'm able to do that. But if you people allow us to all be Nigerians, then I am ready to be Nigerian, so that we can then say those that are leading, which is Bola Tinubu and his team, these are the ones leading. Those of us that want something better, we are the Nigerians. But I will not be less a Yoruba man for you, an Igbo man, or for you, a Hausa Fulani man. No, I will not be. I will be a Nigerian and a Yoruba man. And the conversation will be mutually respectful, mutually tolerating each other, and understanding that my position is that every race or tribe or ethnicity can control the directive principle of their area. But when it comes to the national play, we must be Nigerians.
Wow, now this is all time will permit us to take on this particular episode of Fireworks. Join me next time on this same channel for the second part of this conversation. Thank you so much for being part of it. Bye for now.